Hey everyone, I am so happy to introduce you to Rebecca. Rebecca and I met back in April, and she is having some just really good clarity in her business. And so I thought it would be so encouraging for you to meet her, hear a little bit of her story and what's been helping her. And my goal is that it encourages you. We are going to talk about some of the things that Rebecca learned in the Customer First Sales Mastermind. So if you want information on that, like the dates, how it works, just leave a comment below. Just say Mastermind or send me a message, and we'll be glad to get that to you. And if anything that you hear encourages you today, make sure you leave Rebecca a comment, because I'm sure we've all done interviews and we're like, did that help anyone? And then we don't just maybe never find out about it. So thanks for joining this video. Rebecca, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to hang out with us. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Like, where do you live? How long you been in your business? Like, just catch us up. Who are you?
I am a Texas girl. I live down in Texas, and I have done a number of things throughout my careers and everything. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I started making cards, and I just fell in love with it. And it just kind of gave me clarity every time I worked on my cards and everything. And I have done it for about 4 or 5 years, but about since January, I've decided to start selling supplies and encouraging others to kind of go on that same journey as I have and everything. And I've just enjoyed doing classes with people and introducing them to a way to relax and just be good to themselves. Yeah.
I love that. Now, when we met back in April, what were some of the problems you were hoping to solve when you joined the mastermind?
My main problem was I felt like I had so many balls that I was trying to juggle at one time, and I didn't have any clarity as far as how I should be approaching people, as far as to get sales or to get business builders, and so I just really was close to just quitting, because I just didn't know that I could keep up with all of those balls any longer.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of people relate to that. What kinds of things did you try before, like the balls?
Yeah.
What were the things that because you're smart. So I'm sure you were like figuring some stuff out, but what were the things that were like not working for you?
Well, I was trying a lot of the social media type stuff, and it's just hard to get your niche in the social realm, on Facebook and stuff like that. And I was thinking about doing videos and stuff, but I wasn't sure that's where I wanted to go. Doing a lot of, I had a lot of support from the people that I knew and everything, but I had just gotten to a place where it's like, I just can't keep asking the same people, my friends and stuff. I need to branch out and make a business of this. I was at that point and everything. And so I had been doing cards for the people at church for like 2 or 3 years. That was just something that I did. I did birthday cards for like a large number of people. And so when I started selling, they were like excited for me, and wanted to really support me and everything. And so I kind of got a boost from that. But then after that wore off, then I was just like, I don't know which way to go now,
Sure.
So yeah, but I did classes. I love doing the classes and stuff, but I had a hard time with the ask, I just really had a hard time with that. And I didn't know how to ask and how much to ask and all of that, and stuff. And so I did a Facebook post. I started doing newsletters, and that's probably my best marketing thing that has continued on or whatever, as far as what I was doing at that time and everything. Um, I even tried a few Instagram posts, or whatever, of me making a card and stuff. And I get a ton of people that liked it, but that was it,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, right. What do you do with that?
So lots of stuff to like where you had positive responses, but actually getting people to buy the things
Correct.
in a way that made sense was hard. So what did you implement from the mastermind that we did together that helped with this?
The main thing there's two big takeaways that I had. I'll probably think of more as we go along. The two that I think about right off the top of my head was to take the emotions out and start doing a routine and just have something that you always going to do. I always make 3 contacts every day, whether I feel like it or not. And even if I feel like I'm ready to quit, then sometimes I'll make that contact and it'll be a really good sell. I've had that happen more than once, And so if you just take the emotions out of it and just go ahead and do it, emotions can really lie to you at times, and everything. And so that was one thing. The other thing was you talked about, you can say it a lot better than I can, but you talked about how people that have been in the business for a long time and everything need to learn in a different way than people that are just starting.
Yeah.
And so I was doing all the motivational kind of stuff or whatever, and hearing a lot of that type of information. But what I heard from you was you need to have just something written out that you just do on a consistent basis. And so just a plan that you just, every single time you go for an appointment or whatever, you have it written out, ready to go. And I doubted that at first, to be honest.
Really fair.
And the first time I tried it, I just kind of just did it, crossing my fingers and thinking, oh, I'm asking for way too much. And she did it. And I was just blown away. And so
Yeah.
and then I did it again and it happened again. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, the process. Well, I remember we had I thought it was fun. I don't know if you thought it was fun in our mastermind call, with all the people there.
Uh-huh.
Uh, conversation, discussion. I guess some people could call it an argument over small orders versus big orders.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you end up landing with the sales you were talking about? You ended up going with bigger offers?
Bigger offers, and just the way that my company is set up, it's like basically if you order $100 worth, you might as well be signing up to be a demonstrator. It's just a given and everything. And then so that seemed like a really huge ask to me, but I went farther than that and I asked for a $200 offer. And they actually, I kind of looked at what they needed to order to really start really enjoying the stamping stuff and everything, and what a basic, $30 thing would be, what $100 would be okay, and then 200 would be, you'd be set, set up to really do some phenomenal stuff and everything. And so yeah, I've had more than one of the big offers, and stuff. And so yeah.
How did that impact your confidence about the business?
It just, I was always just scared of asking for too much, and everything. I could just hear in my head, I could just hear people behind my back or in their mind or whatever saying, oh, I can't believe she spends this much money on this stuff, or, that type of thing or whatever. And so I really had that block in my mind, as far as that's what everybody was thinking. And then after I made those sales, it was just like, people do play golf and spend a ton of money on a weekend, you know, and stuff. And so it just really got me to thinking about my business a lot differently and stuff. So,
I
yeah.
love that. I love that. Can you talk a little bit about some of the stuff you implemented that was like more math and planning? Like some of the left brain things I think you had shared, like the number of invitations needed to be
Yeah.
realistic and the
Yeah.
follow-up schedule. And obviously this is stuff in the mastermind, but can
Hmm.
you just share how knowing the numbers, having a consistent follow-up schedule and scheduling your days,
Yeah.
how that impacted how you feel about your business?
Yeah. For one thing, the idea that that you always overestimate or underestimate how much time it's going to
Yeah.
take you to do things, you know, and everything. Um, that was me 100%, you know, and everything. I guess everyone's like that, but it just really hit home to me, you know, and everything. And so I just, and I would beat myself up over it, you know, I would see it and I'd say, why can't I get stuff done, you know? And then it, you know, it just really helped to start allowing myself more time, you know, to go through the processes that need to be done and everything. I started out for my classes. I knew that a lot of the percentage, I can't remember the exact percentage, but I came to a number where I send out, since I make cards, I make 40 invitations, hand invitations, and send them out. And I usually get 4 to 8 people come into my class. And
Oh,
so,
nice.
yeah. And so, which is actually a pretty decent, you
I
know.
think so.
And so, and then from that, usually I get at least half of them, you know, doing something, buying something from me, you know, not all the big sales, but something, you know, out of that group, you know, and everything. And so, and then from that group, I try to make appointments because it's just too hard to sell at the
Sure.
class, you know, but it's a real good way to kind of introduce them to the concept and everything like that. And so, but I never stop at just sending out the invites. After that, I go through and I probably should be calling, but I'm texting. I'm texting the whole list and going through there and saying, you know, I just checking to see that you got the invite and I'd love to see you, you know, and that's usually I don't hear from anybody until I've done that. And then I'll start getting people coming, you know, and everything. And then after that, I always follow up with a thank you note that I send to the people that come. And then I've started, if there's someone that was said something to me at the actual class, then I'll follow up with a phone call immediately. And if not, I'll wait about a week or so, and then I'll follow up and see if there's anything that I can help them with, you know, and everything. But that's kind of my class schedule. I have 2 classes, 2 different types of classes a month that I do. Um, and that keeps me busy. And so, usually, right now, I'm kind of in between classes, but that usually gives me my 3 contacts, you know, to make all the time, you know, and everything. And so,
Well, I can just hear by the way you're talking, and also like the calmness with which you're saying the things. You're like, and I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. And also, what I loved about it is it wasn't exactly like scripted. You figured out a way to take frameworks and customize them for what works for your company, your personality, and what feels good for you, which I really love.
yeah.
What do you think were some of the biggest? Oh, what outcomes did you achieve? Can you talk a little bit about how you, like the demonstrators that you signed up and what
Yeah,
they look like for you?
I've had, let's see, now I've had 3 demonstrators. I didn't have any demonstrators at first. I've got one that I think it's going to be signing up within the next few days. So that'll be up to 4. One of them wants to be more of a business builder. I'm meeting with her tomorrow, and we're going to discuss kind of the next steps and everything for her. And I have another one that I think will eventually be in that point. She's not there yet, though, but she's got the personality for it. So
Cool.
I see. Yeah.
So you have a really good pipeline for team members as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to shoot for. My goal is to get another one that is a possible business builder, and one that's actually selling herself within the next few months. So that's my goal.
That's great. Yeah. What were the biggest lessons that you learned from all of it?
I think one thing was just that I just need to slow down and just enjoy the process. And, one thing that I heard you say a lot of times was just it's just a numbers game, and that takes a lot of pressure off of you when you're not expecting something out of every single thing that you do and everything. I tend to be hard on myself. And so that was very encouraging to me to be able to know that, okay, this one didn't work out. That's okay. Just move on to the next, and everything. And it's not for everybody, and everything. And so that was really good for me. And then just writing out exactly kind of what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to say, so that when those nerves come up or those discouraging thoughts come up or whatever, you can just go to that and say, okay, this is it. This is all you have to do, or whatever, and stuff. And so you can go to that and just go through the process and everything. And it really takes a lot of the pressure off. So
I love that. I think we all want a business where we don't feel so much pressure all the time. And it just reminds me of what you said earlier about, like, just so matter of factly, well, if I send out 40 invitations, I get 4 to 8 people to come. And then, like, that's just, and it almost, what I also heard, you were able to, like, almost project out what you thought would happen next, which I think also gives us way more hope than if we have no idea what's going to happen next in our business.
Right.
What advice would you give to other network marketing leaders based on what you learned?
I would say, well, just kind of the takeaways that I took from you or whatever, just to not always go on what you're feeling, to always to kind of push through and everything and do the steps. And I think about my husband. He was part of a group that taught some of these principles or whatever. And he was talking about a friend of his that was also in that same business. And at the time, this was a long time ago, they did door to door. And his friend would go and he would sit on the corner of the block and just sit there the entire time. So his wife would think that he was working. And it's like, if he just walked out that door, and just done the process and everything, that he would have gotten the context he needed, or whatever. But just that fear can really stop you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so deep. That, like, really I don't think I'm ever going to forget that story, Rebecca. I think of, like, how many times we have told ourselves or others that we're working, and we're really just sitting on the corner so they think we're working.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it comes back around because they're like, where's the money you made from when you were working?
Right.
And I'm gonna think about that probably all day. So thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our community to encourage them?
Um, just write things down, write down your process. And when you get discouraged, you have something to look at. So that's my biggest thing, I think. Yeah.
Cool. I love that. And if you guys are watching this video and you're like, my process, that's what we do in the Customer First Sales Mastermind. So if you would like to work together to make your process so you can be cool, calm, and collected here like Rebecca, just send us a message or leave us a comment and we'll connect with you. I think we're starting in a few weeks. And Rebecca, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story and also that super deep one at the end.
You're welcome.
So I appreciate it. So bye, everyone.